Today, I wanted to talk about the third eye or intuition, particularly when we want to know when people are lying. For example, if you confront a partner about something that doesn't make sense, look at how your partner reacts. If they engage in theatrics about it, something is probably wrong. I've always said if people have to go out of their way to claim they aren't lying, they're probably lying. And this is a piece of wisdom I've had for decades. It is important to keep our intuition alerts up in spotting when something is off, particularly when people lie to us. Often, people who make a big scene about being accused of lying may be deflecting to distract from the truth. Beyond that, there are several key behavioral signs and psychological cues that can indicate when someone is not being truthful. While there's no foolproof method, here are some common tells that can help you sharpen your instincts. So let's go back to what we just discussed over the top emotional reactions. When someone dramatically denies being a liar, especially with an exaggerated show of indignation, it's often a red flag. A calm, measured denial is usually more credible than one that's overtly emotional. A defensive reaction can be an attempt to cover up guilt. People who are lying might feel threatened by the accusation, and they overcompensate with a big display, trying to get you to stop thinking about it, right? Inconsistencies in storytelling. Liars often struggle to keep their story straight. If someone gives details that contradict each other or changes the timeline of events multiple times, that's a major indicator that they might not be telling the truth. Pay attention to the small details. Liars tend to fill in gaps of their own story with extra details that weren't originally mentioned. Over explaining or adding unnecessary facts is a way to make their tales sound far more believable, but the embellishment will get them in trouble. Too much detail or vague responses. Speaking in either overly specific or overly vague terms can be suspicious. On the one hand, if someone's providing more information than necessary, it might be a sign that they're trying to craft some sort of tale to make the lie more convincing and plausible. On the other hand, if they avoid giving direct answers or speak in generalities, they might be trying to avoid giving a story that could later be checked for inconsistencies. We lawyers call those points of impeachment. Physical cues, body language, and this is a big one for me. I do this all the time. Body language cues can be tricky, but there are certain signs that indicate some sort of discomfort or dishonesty, like microexpressions. These are very brief, involuntary facial expressions that reveal emotions that we might be trying to hide. A fleeting look of guilt or anxiety can betray someone's true feelings, even if their words say otherwise. The eyes. People may avoid eye contact when lying, but sometimes liars can overcompensate by making excessive eye contact, as though trying to convince you of their sincerity. Rapid blinking, dilated pupils, or looking up as if accessing fabricated information can also be signs of dishonesty, but take that with caution. I tend to look up sometimes too when I'm thinking about things, and it's not always about lying. What about poor posture, touching the face, making weird gestures around the mouth or eyes? This could be signs of stress and discomfort, which could be behind dishonesty. Pauses in speech, responding or speaking in fragmented sentences, may indicate that the person is trying to fabricate or carefully construct a response which isn't natural but is more forced or fixed because the person is figuring out their story. Changes in tone or speech patterns. When someone lies, their voice might change in subtle ways. Maybe a higher pitched voice can be a sign of nervousness or stress, which might accompany lying. Speed. Liars sometimes talk more quickly than usual, as if they're trying to get out all the words before they're caught. Conversely, they may slow down if they're thinking through their lies. Hesitations and filler words. Frequent use of filler words, like, could indicate that someone is searching for words to make the story seem more authentic. They might be buying time to come up with something more plausible as they're thinking through the story they want to fabricate. Signs of guilt or nervousness. Almost we could call it sort of like a consciousness of guilt. If someone is caught in a lie, their body language may show signs of guilt or nervousness. They might fidget or exhibit restless movements. They might cover their mouth, their face, or throat, which are areas where we naturally try to hide our true feelings when we're under stress. Avoid direct confrontation or withdraw from the conversation to create distance. What about deflecting or shifting blame? Now, that's a big one, right? When a liar is confronted, they may immediately shift the blame to someone else, possibly even to you, to deflect responsibility. They may say things like, "Oh, I wouldn't lie about this," but that seems like that would be a more appropriate sign of a lie right there. start attacking you, start attacking others to shift the focus away from their own dishonesty. Excessive defensiveness or aggression. Lying can create an internal conflict between the wanting to tell the truth and maintaining the lie. People who are lying may react aggressively to an accusation, often overcompensating with hostility because they feel cornered. A guilty person might become overly defensive, accusing you of always doubting them, or never believing them, or refusing to take their side, or why do you always do this to me? Right? Too much justification. Liars often feel the need to justify their actions or to lie by giving a lengthy explanation. They may continue defending themselves far beyond what is necessary, attempting to convince you that they're telling the truth by sheer volume of words. Sometimes a lie can even come out when you're not asking for a lie. Sometimes people just get nervous at certain things that are happening because they don't want to be blamed. They come up with a lie right away to shift the blame. And so this also is something that's a huge tell because you realize that you weren't really asking for all that, but they're going above and beyond to construct some sort of deflective explanation to something that you never even accused them of. What about the third eye? This is about honing your intuitive sense, as we mentioned throughout here that the third eye can reveal itself in ways that go beyond logic or physical cues. If you have an uneasy feeling when you're listening to a story and something doesn't add up, there's an inexplicable discomfort in the air, everything feels heavy. This could guide you towards spotting dishonesty. So trust your gut, right? And let's have a final word on this. While these cues can be helpful in detecting dishonesty, it is important to remember that no single sign proves that someone is lying. However, a huge collection of signs probably is more likely going to be a lie than not a lie. You have stress, you have insecurities, you have momentary lapse in judgment. So use the signs in context. Don't use it as definitive proof. But if your third eye is telling you something, again, trust your gut. Your intuition is a powerful tool. Don't be afraid to listen to it, but also try to balance your instincts with careful observation of the situation. Trust in yourself. You've been given natural abilities. Use them. If you feel energy that's deceptive, an energy that's deflecting, then probably that's exactly what it is. Just keep in mind that your abilities and talents aren't for naught. If something is screaming at you a problem, take it seriously. If you like this message, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. We have a lot of safe space here for people to talk and discuss ideas and dialogue. We also have those who are returning, who I appreciate so much. You make this channel great. In the name of the Most High God, I wish you health, wealth, prosperity, and abundance. Take care.